Hi everyone, welcome to the May video for Kawaii Craft Kits. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what was in the May box, as well as a bunch of different projects you can make with the box. This video is going to have a lot of different projects, so I'll leave like timestamps in the info section if you want to skip to a specific project. The theme for this month's box is UV resin, jewelry, and accessories. So there's lots of supplies and tools to make some finished pieces of jewelry and to make some accessories. You'll see what I mean by accessories later on. So right on top there will be an insert that shows all the supplies as well as a note from myself. And then on the back there will be a couple example projects with steps that I wrote out. And then there's also a printed paper with some more supply info. And then tying all of the supplies together in this little bundle is the Sakura ribbon and then this illustrated pin by Jade.Grove. So then here's everything inside, and I'm going to show you some close-ups and more detailed look of all the supplies included this month. So here is the illustrated pin close-up. This month we have a bottle of clear UV resin, and this is in 25 grams and it comes out clear and it will be sealed when you first get it. So just unscrew the cap and take off the seal, and then to apply it, it comes with this like needle nose applicator. There we go. Then we have these two pigment bottles made specifically for UV resin, and so there's one in pink and one in green. A set of 2 chain nose jewelry pliers to assemble finished jewelry pieces later. This really pretty and awesome embellishment set, and I love this item so much. I'm going to use it a lot in this video, but yeah, it just comes with a very good assortment of embellishments. We have 3 silicone molds. Well, really it's 4 because the heart is broken up into 2 pieces, but you'll see me use all 3 of these at a later date. It's kind of hard to see because they're clear and still in their packaging right now, but there's this one with jewelry tags that have some holes for Jumprings. This is the split heart BFF mold, and then there was the gem mold as well. And then we also have 2 blank phone grips, and this is my first time using phone grips, so I'm excited about that. This baggie has iridescent film, and each box comes with 3 different colors. And then the last item, well really it's a bunch of items, is this little baggie, and it comes with different findings and such, and so I will show you a quick look at everything that's inside. So first up are these pair of heart key chains, and then this star hairpin with an open, or it's a closed bezel, but you can fill it, and that'll be one project in a second. This star ring, and this one has open stars, and so you can fill it with resin and embellishments, and I'll be doing that project later as well. Next we have Jumprings, so a bag of bigger Jumprings and a bag of smaller Jumprings, and both will be handy. And then this necklace, and this is a gold chain 18-inch necklace. This item doesn't look like much, but it is a sheet of the transparent tape, and so it's a single use, but I actually cut it up into a couple uses anyway. And then lastly, this illustrated sticker, also by Jade.Grove, and this is the new mascot. So now we're going to jump into the projects, and I've kind of sorted these by time it takes to complete. Roughly. And so this project is pretty quick. This one is to make the hairpin that I showed you just now, and this star, which is part of the like gem shape mold, is the perfect size to fit into that hairpin. And so I'm just going in with some rhinestones and things from that embellishment set I showed you earlier as well, and I'm putting them face down because when you cure it and pop it out, the flat part is going to be like the part that's like on top, and so if you want to put it inside the bezel and have it fit nicely, you should put everything upside down, if that makes sense. Actually, when I first made it, I did everything right side up, and then I realized that it didn't fit as well. So yeah, I just put the rhinestones inside the star mold, and then I kind of use like these like sharp pointy ones for the points of the star, and then I use some square ones and such. And this is really fun. Like, I had a lot of fun like fitting in all the embellishments and things like that. So yeah, just play around with it, put whatever you want inside really, and then once you're done, you just cure it. And you can cure UV resin using a UV torch, which is what you'll see me using for most of these projects, and this requires AAA batteries, or you can use a UV lamp, which is usually USB powered, or you can use the sun. And the sun does take longer, but you don't need to buy any extra tools for that. This kit does not come with a UV lamp or light, and this is the first kit I'm not doing that for, just because I've included UV lamps and lights in the past, and I just don't want my subscribers to keep getting UV lights, because you really only need one. So if this is your first box and you need a UV lamp, I sell those on my Shopify. You can also use the sun, or you can also buy UV lights on Amazon. Yeah, you don't have to buy it from me. I want to be like completely transparent. You can find them on Amazon and such. But yeah, if you want a UV lamp or UV light, for the next UV resin box, I am looking for ways to maybe improve the process. Maybe like you can substitute one item in the box if it's your first UV resin box for UV light, or you can add it on for an additional fee. So look out for that, and I hope it didn't cause too much confusion this month. So then to attach this resin piece that you made into the hairpin, you just add a little bit of clear UV resin and spread it out. You'll see me using this needle tool quite a lot, or the spoon tool, and the rest of the projects as well. You can also use a toothpick if you don't have this, or you can use a needle tool that you'd find like with a clay tool kit. So yeah, and then you just push it down, and then you cure that, and now it's attached. Next, I want to show you an example of how you can use the iridescent film. I think I might have called it transparent film earlier, but it's like semi-transparent iridescent film. So what you can do is you can add it to your resin projects. You can either cut it to the size of your mold, which is what I'm going to be doing here, or later you'll see me cutting it into little pieces to create kind of like an opal effect, I'd call it. So yeah, I'm just using a knife to kind of cut it to the size of the mold, and then I'm putting it face down, so the shiny part facing inside the mold, and then pushing it down using my needle tool, and then applying some UV resin on top of that, and then curing that. And then here is a diamond version I did, and here's a little trick. I apologize, my fingers are kind of I need a manicure, but anyway, if you find that there's like a little hole or something in the piece once you pop it out, you can just apply some resin on top of it to fill that gap, and then cure it, and then it'll be nice and smooth. So here's what the pieces look like after they've been cured and smoothed out and everything. And these are really pretty, and they look really great in the light, and it's really fun to shift them and see the different colors. So I'll probably use these. I'll probably make more and use them in another project at a later date. So I probably will post that on Instagram once I finish. Alright, so now we're going to be making a necklace as our next project, and I already put some UV resin in the mold, but basically what I did was I added some clear UV resin to this silicone bowl that I have. You can also mix it up on some parchment paper directly, which is what I use to work on. So you want to add just a little bit of the pigment. A little bit goes a long way, and then you're going to mix it up. And then I use a spoon tool to put it inside the molds, just because the cavities are pretty small, so I don't want to pour and end up like over pouring and spilling. So I just use the spoon to spoon it out. It takes a little bit more time, but I think it's worth it. And you can also use it to place the resin more accurately. So like you want to get around the hole inside the mold and make sure to cover everything. So yeah. And then I also mix up some green color as well, and then fill all the cavities. And then once I have them all filled with the color UV resin that I mixed up, I go ahead and cure it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of clear UV resin on top of each one, and then apply some embellishments on top, and it kind of acts like a glue, and then cure that, and then that is it to make the little jewelry pendants. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to open a jump ring, and so you just use one of the pliers and hold it, and then the other plier you hold it on the other side, and making sure that the opening of the jump ring is exposed, and then you just twist in opposite directions to open like that, and then you can twist them the other way. Yeah, I get kind of confused, but you twist them the other way to close it back. So open, close, open, close, open, close. You get the idea. So then I just assemble all of the little pendants I made using the smaller of the Jumprings included in the box. And I just put them kind of evenly spaced throughout the chain, and then open and close them, the Jumprings, onto the chain. And that's it. So now we're going to do the ring project. And when I first got this ring as a sample to see if I wanted to include it in the box, I just fell in love. I think it's really pretty. So anyway, to do this project, I'm going to take that transparent tape, and then I'm going to cut a strip of it that's a little bit wider than the ring itself, and then peel the tape off of the backing, and then push it underneath the ring and covering it underneath. Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle, but it worked, and I ended up having to cut it again to size, but yeah, and I just kind of like trimmed the excess just so it wouldn't get in the way when I was working on the project. So originally I started with actually like putting the ring on my finger to work on it, but then I realized that I kind of want both hands to work with. So what I ended up doing was I had this little container jar, and you might have some of these lying around if you've received previous Kawaii Craft Kits or something, or they're pretty common for like I don't know, to store things in. And so I just use that as a little base for the ring so that it doesn't roll around for when I apply like the resin and all the embellishments. So I just play around with the embellishment kit, and I add like glitters, some little half pearls, and I add, like, I always start with a base of clear resin, and then I add in the things that I want, and then I cure it. And then on the sides of the ring, I mixed up some pink UV resin, and I kind of made the sides of the ring pink. And I'm not sure if I like the look because I didn't fill in the entire ring. I kind of like it, but I might go in later and completely fill it. But I kind of like that there's some gaps. I don't know. What do you think? But after you finish curing everything, it's done. Alright, so on to the next project. I told you there would be a lot of projects in this video. We're going to be making the BFF Heart. I'm going to be making them into keychains. You can also make it into necklaces if you have some necklace chains, or you can make it into keychains like I'm going to do. And so you start with these two halves, and they will fit together. And I'm going to be using the iridescent film again. So I start by adding a thin layer, like a base layer of the clear UV resin, and then I cut up a bunch of little like shards, flat pieces of the iridescent film, and then I scatter them around each side of the mold, and I make sure that the shiny part is facing down because that's going to be the front side of the piece. And then I want to show you a cool effect you can do using the pigment. So I drop a little bit of pigment onto each side. I drop like 2 drops kind of like spaced out on each side of the mold, and I kind of added a little bit too much to one of the sides. It kind of came out a little bit strong on me. If you want to avoid this, what you can do is like you can put a little bit of the pigment onto the parchment paper and then like just lift up a little bit of it using a toothpick or a small spoon, so you can avoid my mistake of pouring too much pigment. But anyway, so then you can just like spread the pigment using a toothpick or a needle tool, and it creates like this tie-dye effect. And I think it's really cool, and you can experiment by mixing different colors and really like create a unique piece. And so that's what I do on this piece. And then once I'm satisfied with how it's all spread, I add some more UV resin on top, some of the clear UV resin on top, to make sure that both of the sides are full, like both molds are full, because these pieces will fit together. You want to make sure that they are like the same height. So I just pour all the way to the top of each one, and then I cure this, and I used a UV lamp for that, and I cured it for like a couple minutes, because if you add pigment, especially a lot of pigment like in this piece, it might take a little bit more time to cure than if you just start curing like clear UV resin. But yeah, and then I pop them out of the molds, and then I'm going to attach some Jumprings to them, and then attach the key rings, and then those are done. And they do take a little bit of force to get together. I found it easy to kind of like angle it. One of the like heart insert puzzle pieces, angle it, and kind of like press it in. I think it'll get easier to do this over time as you like do more of it. And so yeah. Alright, so here's the final project. Thanks for sticking with me. This is probably my favorite project, and you know, I don't like to play favorites, but I'm pretty sure this is my favorite project. This is the phone grip project, and I actually have never used a phone grip on my phone prior to this, but I ended up making this and I'm using it right now, and I've only been using it for like a day or so since recording this, and I love it. I love playing with it, and I love how you can like stand your phone up and watch videos and things. So yeah, anyway, enough babbling, so let's get on to the project. So for this one, I stick the illustrated sticker in the center of the phone grip, and this sticker is waterproof, so you can add UV resin on top of it, and I even recommend that just so you can like protect the sticker, because if you're going to be using your phone in the grip a lot, it'll help protect against like scratches and wear and tear. So yeah, and then I made the sticker purposefully a little bit smaller than the full outline of the grip, because I figured that it would be cool to add like a border, like a circle border around the sticker. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, and so I'm just using a bunch of different embellishments from that embellishment set. And so I used the flowers, I used the rhinestones, and then I also used some shapes that I made from colored UV resin from that mold that I was showing you with the iridescent film earlier. So I'm adding those as well, and it's just really fun. This decorating this phone grip is it was just really relaxing and fun. And then I want to make a whole lot more, and I have like 1,001 ideas for phone grips. So if you want to see a second phone grip video of different inspiration and more ideas, let me know and I'd be happy to make that. And yeah, so then once I have everything in place, I use UV resin to kind of like secure pieces here and there, and like kind of use it like a glue. And then once I have everything glued on, I add a final like layer of UV resin in the middle just to protect the sticker and make sure everything's covered, that sort of thing. And so yeah, I just kind of like do it in steps. Like I place things, make sure I like the placement, I secure using UV resin, I cure that, and then I just kind of like keep moving on until everything's covered, and then eventually cover the whole thing in UV resin. I hope that made sense. But yeah, and then once I was satisfied with all the rhinestones, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to be satisfied, because you can always add more rhinestones. I use different size rhinestones, and I feel like I could add some more rhinestones if I really wanted to. But anyway, that is the final project, and this is the result. So then to secure it onto the phone, you can just peel off the little 3M backing and then stick it onto your phone and press down. And I didn't know this until I pressed it down, but the grippy will spin. So like once you have it attached to your phone, you can spin it around. So it doesn't matter too much about like the orientation of the like what you put on the grip. But I think it's best to put it like in the middle of the phone, like the grip itself, to put it like in the middle of the phone, below the camera obviously, so around here. And yeah, just press, and that is it. So that concludes all of the projects and this month's tutorial video. Which project was your favorite? I want to know, so if you could leave a comment letting me know which was your favorite. If you can't pick favorites, you can just say all of them. Anyway, I hope this gave you a lot of inspiration and ideas, whether or not you are a subscriber for my Kawaii Craft Kits. I hope you find it interesting, useful, and thank you guys so much for watching. So here are all the projects I made in this video. It's a lot. If you want more information on Kawaii Craft Kits, you can read the description below or go to the website, which is kawaiicraftkits.com. So yeah, thanks again, and see you guys in the next video.